the vehicle in your life, would you be doing this discipline journey?
I think if I had the knowledge of like where it will take me and how it is for me, I definitely would.
Yeah.
I just can't even imagine what it would what my life would look like. Just because I feel like like I get out of school, I lift to get better at baseball, then I go throw to get better at baseball, then I do mobility to get better at baseball, and then go to bed. So like, I think I still would, just because like it's helped me a lot. I think with my mind.
Yeah.
And like it helps you even physically.
You've experienced a lot of advertising in your life. It's all over the internet. It's everywhere you drive. Signs that you see, and usually in advertising, they're trying to communicate really big and bold, like what the best benefits or features are for something, right? So it's like shouting out, hey, we are the lowest cost option, or we are the most like eco-friendly option, or just go down the line of what they're trying to call out to be different in like a really noisy world. So have you ever bought a car, used car, new car? Have you been part of that process?
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you ever get on like the car listing websites to look at cars?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay. So, later down the road, you'll get into looking at apartments and houses, but with cars, right, it gets like, it'll like put in all caps something, right? Like 43 miles a gallon, like that's the main thing. And then it gives like 1,000 other words about all the other things that are just kind of the things about a car. And if you're going to get into a house, it might be like amazing backyard in bold, and then it gets into everything else because that's kind of the thing to grab you. So thinking about yourself, like if you were to have this like listing for Otto, right? 20 or 18-year-old Otto. And it has like all of this, it could be this huge list of all these things that you are, but there are a couple of things that you're just like putting the all caps button down and saying, but this is what you need to know most about me. What is that for Otto?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just being personable. I think that's what I try to do the most of. Like, I don't know, maybe there's 10 different things going on in your life and you talk about it with 10 different people. And I just like try to do the best I can of being able to like be approachable and like be able to talk about pretty much anything for like a long period of time, because I think just having someone you can go to and talk to, especially like recently when I had to make a decision, it was valuable to have people to talk to. So just like having someone you feel comfortable with and being able to talk to is super valuable to me. So I guess I just try to be that for other people.
Yeah, it's awesome. How does that, where did that come from? Can you think of like when that became more of a value to you, more of a definition to like your journey?
Yeah, I think the defining moment really was I was super close with my sister, and she went to college, and I would like, I don't know, talk to her a good amount every day. And like once you don't really have that resource in your life, I guess that's kind of just when it clicked for me how important that resource is.
Yeah.
So she'll be a junior, so probably 2 years ago.
Yeah. So she was this way to you, then it went missing, and you missed it, but you also thought, or just kind of unconsciously started moving into that version of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how far away is she in school?
She's at KU.
Okay.
So
you see her often?
She's rowing, so she has a busy schedule, and she's in a tough major, so probably twice a month.
Yeah.
She just moved back in, but she does make an effort to get home. So
yeah.
It's pretty frequent. But her freshman year, she swam at Valparaiso, which is in Indiana. So it's gotten a lot easier. But when she was 8 hours away, it's kind of when it was noticeable.
Yeah. What were some things that she did that made her approachability different than somebody else's approachability or availability for you?
The first thing is I was super comfortable with her because she's my sibling, so I've grown up with her. I know I could talk to her about anything. And then I think the second thing was experience, because like she's a super high achiever. She works really hard at everything she does well in school, does well in sports, everything. She's social, so I think knowing she's been through like everything and experienced a lot of things being older, and a lot of those roles you have to take on when you're the older sibling, but I just felt like with how much she'd experienced and gone through and how much she knows and also how well I knew her and I felt like I could say anything, that was probably the reason I felt that way.
Yeah. So the I felt like I could say anything part, that's a hard part in a relationship. Like sometimes people can be the super experienced person, so they have a ton of credibility, they're even a family member, but there's just some kind of wall that keeps you from being vulnerable or connecting, right? So as you think back to, just who she is now or who she was a couple years ago, like what was it about her demeanor or like when you think about that like actual connection and how easy it was that you think made it more comfortable and different than some other high achiever that was close to you?
She was a really good listener, so she would also kind of match my energy with that. So if I was ever super excited about something, she was excited for me, or if I wanted to talk about something that's maybe a harder conversation to have, she would understand that and kind of be that way as well.
Yeah, I like that. She'd match your energy. So do you feel like those two things are part of your like personal connection journey now that you're kind of that's an important thing to you, that's on your listing of like who Otto is? Do you think you'd say the same about yourself, that I'm a really good listener, I like to match people's energy, or is that different?
I think it's a little different. I'm kind of almost bipolar in a sense where I feel like I'm really calm, but I also get really excited about stuff and really happy and super energetic. So I think I have gotten better at understanding where I am and reading the room and knowing when you need to be calm and mellow and listen to somebody, but also be excited for them. Yeah.
Do you connect with certain types of people, or do you feel like you're personable enough? Do you have like flexibility and like adaptability where you're kind of able to kind of diversify your approach or your nature as you connect?
I think it's gotten better to where I feel like I can talk to almost anybody. Like the best example I can give you is someone sits down next to me in the sauna at the J or something, and I've never talked to them, and I kind of get 15 minutes or however long we're in there to really get to know that person and kind of hear their life story. So I think that's almost like, not only do I get a personal level of interest from it, I also think it's almost like good practice to get better at it, and I think it's an important skill to have.
Yeah, I'm sure you practice differently with different types of people, right? You're different, being in the sauna, you could get maybe some older generation folks. Being in an athletic environment, you might get people that are in a similar generation. Being in a school, you get just some diversity. What are some, do you feel like you enter into those conversations, do you connect the same way? Do you kind of just start on with the same language and energy a lot of the times and just see what's there? Like what happens after I put this out there, or are you trying to be more strategic, I guess?
I guess I kind of I like to introduce myself and then almost let them steer the conversation and see what they're interested in. And I think the easiest way to do it is find a similar interest, because once you find something that both of you guys like, it gets easier from there. And I think that's when you can kind of pick up the conversation and they start to show some more emotion.
Yeah. Would you dig a little bit if you didn't find a shared interest in the introduction?
I think so, a little bit. Kind of try to wrap my head around like what they like to do and stuff like that.
Yeah. Would you use that language? Like if it was just kind of quiet and you introduced yourself, and like give me an example of how a conversation might go with a stranger when you're in that vibe.
So I do like I think it's a lot easier when the person is like, you can kind of tell when a person's talkative and a cool guy to be around, or someone's like a colder person who doesn't like to talk as much. So like, I like the sauna example. Sometimes there's somebody and walks in with their headphones and it's like, okay, who cares? And last week, Ben Allen and I were in there together, and they have red lights in there and they just switched them to blue, and it's really obnoxious. And this dude came in, hilarious Ireland accent, complaining about the lights, and we're like, this is going to be an easier person to talk to. So I think I definitely prefer when it's somebody that like you can tell they want to talk to you and they'll care about it, and when it's somebody that's like less talkative and more kept to themselves, I wouldn't say I do too big of a job to like dig into it, especially because I feel like there's already some level of disconnect when someone's in their 50s and 60s and we're teenagers. So when they're in a huge difference age-wise and they're not super like outreaching to talk to you, I think it makes it a lot harder.
Yeah. So part of it is practice. Part of it is just like I'm practicing my social connection skills, and part of it is, would you say, like true curiosity or empathy? Like everybody needs a friend, and who knows what this person's going through today? Like where does the other part come from outside of the just like, I want to practice this and I like this. I like talking and I want to get better at it. You know, I like connecting, I want to get better at it. Is there a curiosity flow to you or a empathy flow? What tell me more about that piece if it's there.
Yeah, I think like that maybe doesn't sound great, but empathy is probably not like a massive part of it. That's definitely part of it, but I think it's just like, I spend a lot of time thinking about like what my life would be if I was just born in a different situation, and I kind of just like getting to learn about people from like all walks of life, like what other people do.
Tell me more about that. So you like thinking about that. Do you know why you think? Is that just it's just, I don't know where that comes from, or do you know where that comes from?
I don't know. I've kind of always thought about it just like you're on a freeway and there's 100 people and everyone's going to do something differently, or like maybe what my life would be like if I was born with my aunt and my uncle instead of my parents, and just like all the little things that make you who you are because of the life you're put in. Like maybe you go to a different high school that's 10 minutes away, but it makes all the difference in the world. So I guess I just like, I have a lot of curiosity in that side of things, and it's just how other people think. Like sometimes I'll talk to someone and I'm like, I wish I could live a life as them for one day and just see what it's like, because maybe you see somebody on the street that you think is like weird or something, and you're like, they think the same thing about you. Yeah.
So let's play more with that line of thinking. So let's do it two different ways. Let's go with Otto. After this conversation, he gets he wakes up in Norway, and so he's completely disconnected from all the different cultural pockets that he has today. Right? Like baseball's gone, and school is different, and people are different, language is different. Where do you go to just kind of get into What are some things that you start to do that you know are you, that give you pleasure or fulfillment?
It's a hard question. I think probably just seeking social interaction is the biggest thing that, like, I feel like when I knew I did a good job that day and, like, I can go to bed knowing I felt good about my day and I made myself a better person, I think that's the biggest thing that, like, gives me a sense of self-fulfillment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard when there's a completely different set of, like, societal norms, everything overseas, but
so the social connection part is huge for you.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like, yeah, I'd go get lost in nature, and because I love that so much, and that move would kind of set me free from all of these constraints. Like it's not something entirely different like that.
Yeah, I've just always been big on relationships, and I think not only when you connect with someone, and I think it's easiest to talk about it with sports, but like when you really connect with the coach, you're going to work harder for that coach. Or you're really close with a friend, you're going to be a better friend.
Yeah.
So I think just connecting with people is kind of my love language.
Yeah. What about the times of the day in Norway where there isn't like an opportunity to connect with people, or like you're not going to connect with people for 14 hours a day? What else are you doing over there that you're like, this was part of my life in Kansas that I just know I need to get into to like have this, to be regulated, to feel good about my day? What would those other things be?
I think that's just so hard for me to answer because I just feel like I'm really goal oriented.
Yeah.
And like all my goals, I mean there's some academics and stuff, but a lot of them revolve around athletics.
Yeah.
And when that's taken out of my life, I mean, I do spend time, like, I don't know, maybe it's walking my dog or just kind of hanging out outside, but everything looks so different in that landscape that I'm not really sure.
So you'd want to find a goal quick.
Yeah.
That would be important to your system, finding a goal. Yeah. And you'd want to would you still want to be athletic without baseball? Like, would you still want to, if baseball wasn't there, would you still like the feeling of training and just having your body move in different ways, or do you feel like that comes with the baseball part and maybe that would fade?
I think I definitely want to stay in shape and still feel good in my body, but I don't think like I'd get super into the world of weightlifting and stuff. I think I'd kind of just monitor and not make sure I'm not putting a ton of junk in my body, but I don't think I would be super exercise heavy.
Yeah. What would you want to be learning about other than people that might start flowing into a goal where you're like, this is part of what I love learning about in Kansas, and I can still learn about it wherever you put me? What would learning look like for you?
I think I really travel. I think I would just kind of want to learn what the world looks like in other places, and obviously if I live in Norway, like I have no real scope of the United States and stuff like that, and it's probably kind of hypocritical for me to say that because right now I don't have a great scope of what Norway looks like, but I think if I had more free time and like athletics weren't a part of my life, I would definitely lean towards like the travel side of things.
So you'd explore over there quite a bit.
For sure.
Yeah. And to get into like different culture, like to meet different people, would that be kind of the driver of it, or would it be to see how different parts of nature, like what's driving that travel side? What do you love about it?
I think a lot of it is meeting the people, but outside of that, just kind of seeing how like areas and groups behave in different parts of the world. Like what's normal, like in Germany, or what's normal in Prague, or maybe Afghanistan, and then here. Yeah. Like just kind of everywhere.
Yeah. So it's just a big curiosity about that. Yeah. So we are back in Kansas now, but to kind of go off of what you were saying about what would life be like if I lived with my aunt or something like that. So I just kind of see like culture is such a creator of who we are, like you were saying, right? And there's all these like different cultures that we're a part of. Like you have this baseball culture that you're a part of. You have a high school culture. You have a home culture. Tell me a little bit about what is some of that culture, and you can pick, any of them. It might just be some general like aggregate voice, or it might be specific to different pockets. But what is culture here saying is important? So before, like, what is it saying? Hey, do this over here, it's really important in our culture. Do this over here, it's really influential. Do this over here, it's very rewarding. What are you hearing as a older teen culture say is important to an older teen male that you've heard in just your story?
Yeah. I think it's interesting because a lot of the cultures are different. Like you talked about all the ones you have, and like maybe in baseball, a lot of it's baseball based, but it's also some level of personal. And then school, maybe it's trying to fit in and do things culturally to, I guess, look more the part at school. Mm-hmm. And then at home, it's different and becoming an actual good human being. So I think it's best to kind of pick almost like your blend from each area and think about the type of person you want to be culturally and the type of people you want to surround yourself with. So I think really it's just listening. Like when I think of advice from people, it's always coming from the people I trust.
Yeah. So if you think about the parent home culture, right? You touched on that. You said it's being a good human being, but what does that look like more when you give it definition? What does good human being look like at home?
I mean, I'd say the principles my parents like instill in me since I was a little kid, like behave, do your chores, do whatever, like help people without being asked, serve others, be nice to other people, do things that make you happy. Just little snippets everybody gets from their parents growing up. I think that kind of builds a bigger umbrella of things you want to work on and like make sure you do. And obviously there's some that you try to knock those out first and they're more important than others, but I think just our parents have been alive and experienced the earth a lot longer than we have, so always just trying to listen to what they say, because anything like, I don't know, random happens in your life. Let's say you're at home, something random happens outside, who are you going to ask about it? You're going to go to your parents. So I think that's the biggest part of that.
Yeah. So you've seen that culture. Your experience with what's coming through that is very, for the most part, you align with it and have experienced value from what it's feeding you, for sure. Yeah. And what about with the baseball side, the sports side? What's that culture? Don't even maybe think about your, you can think personally or just kind of when you step outside that and look in. What is the performance-based athletics culture saying to older teens right now? What is it saying is important?
I mean, I think the biggest thing the baseball world is saying culturally right now is all about development before you get to college. I mean, the kids, like if you look at how good kids are now, maybe it's how good of pitchers or how good of hitters. Like some of these kids 10 years ago, if you threw 88 miles an hour or 90 miles an hour, you could kind of have your pick of schools. And now there was a 15-year-old that threw 100 the other day. So I think development and like getting better as, sure, maybe there's some places get better as a person type of place, but a lot of places I think culturally are saying you get better at baseball, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. So it's not as much about being a good human being It's more throw this ball harder or hit this ball further or harder. It's very much the engine of that culture is develop your result here.
Yeah, I'd say for the most part, I'd say it also kind of depends where you land. Like there's, I don't know, culturally, maybe it's summer ball, there's certain clubs. I feel like I'm lucky because my club, I think it's more based on how good of a person you can be than how good you are at baseball. But there's definitely, I feel like, some areas where, I don't know, there's some kids that are just kind of jerks,
Yeah.
but they're really good at baseball. So I think the most important thing is just finding a space where you know the people care about you and not care about how good you are at baseball. They care about you as a person and how you can be a better person and a better man.
Yeah, yeah. When you cross over into the education system, is it personal in that way? Does it have the ability to be personal in that way? Is it? What do you experience there?
I think it depends. It's kind of hard when you look at a high school like the one we go to and there's 1,600 students, and obviously you can isolate yourself and put yourself in a bucket if you're really high academic. You play a sport on varsity for 3 years and you're well known by all the admin and the teachers, but I think there's definitely teachers out there that really do make an attempt to get personal, and there's also teachers that don't make an attempt to get personal. But I think we're lucky in the sense of like the staff that we have. And I think it really does come from the staff, because our school's big enough and diverse enough to where you can have a friend group really from all walks of life. Like no matter what type of person you are, you can have friends there. But I think where South kind of separates itself is the staff really does make an attempt to get personal, and I think that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, you're very goal oriented, so when you think about these different systems and you have this value, right, of personal connection and approachability. So when you look at all these different systems, trying to do that a little or trying to do that a lot, having success, not having success, where do you think which system is kind of not giving you that the most?
And you mean from like which aspect of culture?
Yeah, is it is it school? It doesn't sound like it's home at all. That's probably where it's best, right? But it's the school, the athletics, the friend group that you're in. What piece could you use like a lift on that personal connection to Otto?
I'd say it's probably school, and I think a lot of that is just because the other areas of my life, there's a level of comfortability. Like, I've known my friends forever. I'm in a tight circle. I've known them for a very long time, and they know me super well. And home, I've known my parents forever, and the guys I play summer baseball with, I've known for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So I think school, it's harder when you're kind of from ages, I don't know, 13 to 18, you're bouncing around a little bit from school to school, teacher to teacher. And I think if you really make an effort, if I really wanted to make an effort to pick up the level of like relationships I'm getting at school, I definitely could.
Yeah.
I just feel like I get so much outside of school to where I have an ample amount of like guidance in my life to where I feel like I don't need to rely on that aspect of it at school as much.
Yeah, yeah. Is it what would you like if you were to rebuild high school, that had that many students, and just kind of think way outside the box of what school is today, and maybe even learning from what you get at home or in your athletic structures. Like, what's something that you go, you know what, I don't know how much this would cost. I don't know how. I'm sure it would be hard, but if the school did this would be good.
Yeah.
What would that be?
So, in my mind, I would make like grades less of a factor. I wouldn't make it that important, and I think every teacher in my mind, I think every teacher should meet with each kid for 5 minutes or 10 minutes at the end of a week separately and just talk to them. And maybe it's what they're not doing super well and what they can do better. And maybe it's how's your home life, or how's your sport going, or how's your family, everything. And just, I think if a teacher really like seeks that level of connection with the student, and the student knows the teacher genuinely cares, the student's gonna enjoy going to class more. The student's gonna be more comfortable with that person, and the student's gonna have a resource to where if something difficult happens in their life, they know they can talk to them.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I see that too. And it doesn't seem, you know, if you take 5 minutes a week times however many students a teacher has come through their classes, I don't know what that number is, you know, maybe there's 100 students that they see in a week, maybe it's more, I don't know. But if it was, you know, it does sound like a lot of minutes. You know, if you go to 100 times 5 is 500 minutes, and you know, divide that by 60, you get 9 hours or whatever that is. But if that was even replaced as an entire school day, right? If they used 1 day a week, to connect, and 4 days a week to help those people learn, like what would the lift be on the learning if they understood that, you know, connected with that kid more. I don't know, I kind of like that bet.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want you to go, I want you to think about something that just feels, what's the word, absurd about Otto. Like, maybe it's not even something that maybe it's a way that you behave. Maybe it's just something that you think, but it just doesn't fit culture, right? Like, it would disappoint one of your cultural systems, but it would kind of reappoint Otto, because it'd just be like, this is just me. It like doesn't fit a construct. It doesn't maybe fit what everybody else is looking for, or how they're behaving and how they're wired. But this feels like something that is just different about me, that I either am noticing, I've noticed in the past and maybe kind of kept undercover a little bit, or no, I do put it out there and it does disappoint. But tell me about something like that in Otto. We all have those things, right? But I think that those things get less and less as we grow up, because we're trying to fit in certain ways, fit the formatting of life, right? So tell me about something absurd.
Yeah, so I think like every aspect of my life, like I said, I'm going to try to do my best, and that's how my family is, that's how my sister was, but like for whatever reason, I just really don't enjoy like trying hard in school. My parents get on me a lot for it, because I've always kind of, not always, but the last 2 years I've really coasted, just because I feel like I can do well and maybe I have 2 AP classes and the rest are normal. And I know that there's definitely something more if I were to apply myself, but for whatever reason, I just don't get a lot of satisfaction, I guess, in taking a super hard class and getting a 4 on an AP test or a 5. And I know some people love that, but I just don't feel like the reward you get is just really worth it. If you want to, I think it's helped knowing I want to play college baseball. And if you know you want to go to a high academic school and you don't have baseball to get you into the school, it matters a lot more. And I think if those are my goals, I would probably care more. But just with the goals and like the way I think about it, I just feel like going to a state school, you're going to play a sport. Like, I've never really thought that I need to take 5 APs anymore. Whereas I don't know, through middle school, freshman, sophomore year. Obviously, those aren't hard classes. It was always honors, though, the AP if it was offered, stuff like that. Whereas the last two, I just don't really enjoy school.
Yes, and I would say that, I mean, that was my experience as well. It was my experience in secondary school and in college. I knew it's like the only thing I was trying to do was get the GPA or whatever that then got me into the next thing, whether that was school or the career. And it just didn't have any meaning deeper than that. It wasn't about learning something that you love to learn. It was about learning what those systems said you should want to learn and how you should learn them, and then getting a good enough score on those things to advance to the next chapter in life. So it was very just a very hollow experience in my experience, and I'm experiencing that too with, like, I see that with my kids and with their friends, and so I wonder, like, if you were to, like, say, even be like more if you were to go even deeper into that, to just say, I'm gonna just make this, like, kind of this bold statement, like I've made before with my kids. I'm like, what would be your most, like, extreme kind of headspace version of, like, as you've experienced school? I mean, take the baseball part out of it, even just like, because right now you're like, well, I mean, if baseball can carry me, you know, into this next chapter, then it feels less important. But really, if baseball wasn't there and you were in high school right now, would you be excited about college?
Yeah, I think that, like, the most blatant way I could put it is, I don't think high school is that valuable. Because I think the reason high school has any value is because it gets you social and it gets you in the space to become ready to be a young adult. And I think college, I mean, you can say what you want, you can be successful without a degree and all that, but I think once you get into more of a specialized, like, you still have your general classes at college, but once you get into a specialized field that you're interested in, I know personally, like, if I'm in a class I'm super interested in, like, I like history. Maybe I'm in American history and I have a blast because I'm into that, and I work hard and do all my stuff because I enjoy that class. So I think high school, like, it's kind of hard to sit through chemistry and you're like, I'm not going to be a chemist, I'm not going to be a STEM major, why am I in chemistry? But, or maybe it's, you have to take a fine art to graduate at South. Maybe it's, I'm not going to ever do anything in this realm of the world. Why do I have to do drawing? But I think college is, I think I would still be jazzed about college just because I'm actually not sure what I want to major in. I know it's in the business side of things, maybe a finance, something like that. But I think once I'm into more of a, hopefully everyone's majoring in something they're interested in. And once you're interested in the classes you take, you're going to enjoy it a lot more.
I mean, I think that high school could be valuable.
For sure.
But it's almost like, and I don't know the history of it, but if you had a freshman year that just had all these different things on the menu, that they said, hey, it's important for you to try these things on the menu because you've never had sushi before and you don't know if you like it, and you've never had, you know, a vegan meal, and you've never had Greek food, and so we just want you to try it, and we're going to have the best teachers give you the best versions of those things, so that then you can step back and say, I love that menu item, like, I'm really interested in eating more of that food, right? And then you can kind of make it to what connects with you, right? But sometimes it just looks like it just keeps coming with, like, here's the menu that we're saying is important, and then you have all different types of teachers that some are really good at teaching and connecting and inspiring, And some are just more like, yeah, check these boxes and you need to do this test because that's the test I've been doing for 20 years. And so then you're lost on there. You're spending so many hours going into something that isn't something that you want to make better or something that you're interested in. And if you just are a part of any system that's feeding you stuff that you're not interested in over and over, and then people are just telling you this is important, I mean, that would just put anybody in a hard spot. So I can relate to you there. I think that I feel very similar to what you're experiencing, and I wish it was different. I do think that the social side is. I would agree with that too. Just what it gives you in terms of connections and a community and different ways to be a part of some extracurricular things, and I do see a lot of benefit there. So what would disappoint? Is there anything else that you can think of that if Otto was just kind of more raw and true to Otto, it might disappoint my home team a little bit if I kind of behave this way, but it's just who I am. Like when I go live on my own, like this is me. It's not me here because I'm trying to respect and honor and that, but this is me. Or even with baseball, the different worlds that you're in. What are you excited to just like get some freedom in?
I don't think really anything comes to mind. I feel like a lot of the stuff I do is, I don't want to say normal, but like stuff I've done my whole life, and kind of like grown an appreciation and understanding for why I do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like where I'm at now, I don't feel like other than that there's really anything that's like I do or someone else does that I like completely disagree with. Like I feel like kind of part of just like gaining understanding for how the world works is understanding why other people do what they do.
Yeah.
So I think once you kind of get down to earth and like think about why are they doing that, or why do they believe this, and kind of think how you would feel if they were in their shoes, I think that kind of helps. So I don't think there really is anything that like I'm gonna change drastically.
Yeah. What about social media? What is social media saying is important to older teen men? Like they're saying, hey, this is important. This is how you get rewarded in life. What is that? And I know social media is very dynamic. It depends on what you look at, but even when you look at something that you want to look at, there's all kinds of other noise around it. I mean, it's just this huge flood of noise. Like what would if all of a sudden the room was filled with 100 18-year-old guys and they had never touched social media, and you said, hey, I know you're getting into social media today, you're all getting phones and you're all going to have access. Let me tell you real quick what it's going to try and tell you is important, just so you have a heads up. You're just giving them a heads up, an orientation of what's coming once that gate opens. What is that?
I think a lot of what like social media kind of like tries to broadcast or show you is like stuff that's very generic in terms of a reward, like becoming rich, or I don't know, maybe it's women or just stuff like that.
Yep.
And it doesn't really have a deeper purpose of like things that give you fulfillment. It's kind of just generic, like on the surface stuff that who wouldn't want $1 million, just stuff like that. But I try my best to kind of like not get too like into social media. Maybe it's like keeping up to date with your friends and all that, I understand, but like just kind of doom scrolling and seeing what hundreds of other people are saying, I feel like is kind of eyewash when you know what you value.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna see a TikTok and it's gonna change how you think about the world, and if you do, it's probably not good.
Yeah. Is that changing for you? Has that changed for you through high school? Do you feel like it was different a few years ago?
Definitely. I feel like now I'm at a point where like we're the oldest kids in the school is what I'm trying to say, and like there's no one we really look up to now. Like we kind of are those kids. So I think in the past I was kind of more concerned on what was popular, how to fit in and all that, and how to like be more a part of a central body just because I was younger and I was at the bottom of the food chain, and now I don't really care.
Yeah.
So
what advice would you give to the 14-year-old version of yourself, knowing what you know now, but that 14-year-old Otto's entering high school and you're like, hey, let me just say this to you before everybody's going to explore and have their own journey, but what would be something that you think would be good for them to think of or practice or see?
I would just say like establish core values and things you believe in and things you won't budge from, like what maybe it's not what you do in your free time, but like the people you want to be around, like that sort of thing, what you want to do in your free time, all that stuff, just stuff you believe in that you feel is personal and you won't budge from, and then I just say stay the course.
Yeah. And
don't try to fit in with others because they're older or higher social status or whatever it is. Just kind of be you.
Yeah. So in you mentioned the values piece, the core values, and you've already talked about a number of them here. So I'm gonna try and just kind of like reflect on some of those and then ask you like what is missing. So you talked about goals are important to Otto, and family, right? Family is this like awesome source for you in a place of you just have high faith in family and value. High value in baseball. High value in being able to connect with people and just being a social person. What else? What are we missing that you would say, hey, we touched on this, but it's huge, it's as big as any of those, or we haven't touched on it? What's another value that shapes Otto?
I think happiness is probably the last one, and everyone has different things that make them happy, but I think just knowing what I like to do that makes me feel better or happy is another thing I really value.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm really competitive, so like winning, that's gonna make me happy. So I think that's probably the last part of it.
Yeah. Tell me more about what makes you happy.
I think just the three things that I try to I know are gonna make me happy is winning at something. I feel like if you're gonna do something, why would you not try to win? If it's a competition, you should always want to win. I think making someone else's day better, or just serving someone else and making them happier, gives me a sense of happiness. And then I think the last one is just being fulfilled and knowing I did something to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And not having any doubt with it.
Yeah. What about things that you're not having to work on that make you happy? Because if you're trying to win, there's just a lot of effort there, right? There's a lot of effort in those things. So what things make you happy where it's just kind of, you just have to be present in this place with this thing or with this, a place, a person, a thing, and I'm not achieving and I'm not becoming and I'm not serving, this is a happy spot for me. What are some of those things?
I think just it goes back to my core values, and just I'm super big on family, being around my mom and being around my dad and seeing my dog and my sister, or just quality time I think is a big one. Yeah. I think things I don't really have to work for that make me happy. It's not super broad.
Traveling maybe?
Yeah, a little bit of travel, family time. I'm a big food guy. I'm a foodie.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes it's cooking, and I think it makes me happy. I make something I really enjoy it. I'm there we go.
Sweet.
So that's probably it.
Yeah. So on a day that, you know, baseball's rained out and the internet's not working, I can't build something, I can't achieve something, it's hard for me to get out right now, and sort of like if you're just kind of stuck, might be a phone call to talk to mom or dad or sister, might be making a good meal, things like that would be a good way to be happy, just being present. Sure. Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in a position where like the things that I do, like what I'm doing on a daily basis, really is pretty like, it's a small amount of things, and I feel like it keeps me busy and happy to where I feel like there's really no point in like trying to obtain something new.
Yeah.
I think I just like I could do what I do now every day for my whole life, and I don't think I'd ever really get sick of it.
Yeah, that's great. What about little Otto? Who was little Otto? How is he different than bigger adult Otto?
I think it was a lot more short-term stuff. I never really wanted to see the bigger picture because, I mean, nothing's really set in stone now, but a lot more when you're young, like nothing is set in stone. Maybe like athletically you don't know what you could become body-wise or anything like that. Academically, maybe you'll love some subject and what you plan on being with your career doesn't work out because you love something else. But I think little Otto is just a lot different because it was really just waking up every day and it was a new day, and it was go live that day to the best of my ability and have as much fun as possible. And
what'd you have fun doing when you were younger? How far back can you remember yourself?
I want to say middle, early elementary school, but I just remember like I was lucky to go to Brookwood. We had a really good circle, all those guys, and we were all super close and competitive. But it was just all I remember was trying to get through the day and go have fun at recess and see who would win or whatever and stuff like that. And we were all really competitive. So literally my whole life purpose at that time was just to win at recess. So it was.
What was the game that you guys would play a lot of?
We bounced around. We'd play some football, and then we'd get in trouble, and it would get taken away. And then Gaga ball was the big one later in elementary school. And then for a very long time, we played soccer, and it was Adam, Thomas, and Trey because they were light years better than everyone else versus everyone else. And that was actually a lot more competitive than you'd think it would be. But that was kind of the sport. It's a little bit of basketball. Basketball wasn't as big. Kickball. 500 alive. That was a big one. We switched shit up a lot.
So when you look out at life, and if baseball sunsets, when baseball sunsets, do you have any sense for like what all this? There seems to be a lot of energy that will just go into that place that like checks a lot of boxes of what makes Otto happy and fulfilled. I mean, if you want to put goals into it, if you want to put athleticism, if you want to put winning, right? It's a vehicle that holds that, and it's awesome. And you're having a lot of success, and so it sunsets at some point. Do you have any ideas, even though they might be small, of like where all that energy goes?
I think a lot of it's going to be try to maintain a healthy family. Like, I'm in a pretty easy role now, being like a kid. My kind of only role is to just have fun, and I feel like my parents do a good job of supporting me. And I think that's kind of the main focus of baseball's done, is every dad's goal is to make their kid have a better life than they did. So just kind of do everything I can to support them, and hopefully I have a family. I don't see why I wouldn't. But
Sweet. Tell me about Otto's like energy patterns. So again, things that we do in life, I think sometimes we can think, well, I mean, this creates energy in me when I'm getting ready for a big game or whatever. But if you just have like, if there wasn't something causing that energy spike, caffeine or a game or whatever, a fun thing with your friends, competition, what is your energy like, and how does it flow? Like, tell me the things that maybe even sound kind of simple and mundane. Like, well, when I love to wake up early, or I hate waking up. Like, it takes me 2 hours to wake up, and it's really a haul for me. And during the middle of the day, it's this, and at night, like, just what is that like, and what is that energy, that kind of the difference in energy that runs through you? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think that's kind of been a point of emphasis for a while now, and I think I've done a good job for, like, you're going to have those moments where you get super amped up. Maybe you're playing a sport or gonna go have a big social event with friends or whatnot, but I think for the most part, I really am kind of right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I don't really allow anything to upset me, really, and I don't also allow anything to get me, like, super high off my horse. So
yeah.
I think like even like you said, the mundane parts of life, like maybe it's getting up at 5:30 or 6 a.m. Like, I'm not gonna be like jumping out of bed, but I'm not gonna be laying in bed for 30 minutes clicking snooze.
Yeah.
So I think kind of just like getting more consistent and making sure you're always kind of at the same state.
Yeah.
Just helps with everything else in your life.
Yeah. So you use the word allow. I'm not going to allow. So this is a work that you've been doing, or is this just, that's who I am?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, and like where I feel like now, I feel like it is who I am. Kind of like I was talking about earlier, when you're younger in high school, you try to fit the scene of a social setting. Everyone's kind of trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
And I feel like now that we're upperclassmen, or you're 18 through 21, that's kind of when you like really start to figure out who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like I kind of will just be like a more laid back, mellow person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe not mellow, but just like steady is a better word.
Yeah. Is it still able to? Does that have a cost to it? I know in my life, people would joke with me that I'm like a robot sometimes with my energy. Just even, killed, that kind of language, and I really enjoy that too, and but I know I've done a lot of work to not allow, right, to use that language, and part of that for me has been like protection. Like, I don't want to feel those negative energy patterns, so I'm gonna work really hard to do what I need to do to stay here, because I don't want to feel that, right? So I don't know what it's like for you, but somebody told me recently, maybe it was my wife, she was listening to a podcast, maybe a psychologist, therapist, something like that, and they were saying that emotionally, if you're trying to numb or disconnect from a certain feeling, you can't just isolate one feeling. Like, if you do that, it actually impacts all of them. And I think it was a good conversation, or just realization. I was really interested in that, because I could kind of feel that. I was like, gosh, I don't only not feel this energy change, because I think feelings and energy kind of go together, right? It's hard to feel what happiness feels like, and what sadness feels like, and what fear feels like, and surprise feels like, if I'm even. on my energy, because those different emotions do different things to us. So I kind of see those things together. I don't know if that's how it is, like biologically, but it's kind of feels in me. And I realized, like, I'm protecting myself over here, and maybe it's producing this like really consistent engine in me and like achievement, because I'm achievement driven. So it's keeping all that out and at bay so I can stay laser focused and just like plow through. But then it was kind of jeopardizing or compromising these great feelings that I wasn't having, where I wasn't experiencing feelings of like delight or I would say it's not like I don't smile or feel happy, but I don't know that that goes up very far where it goes for other people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, I kind of jumped around, zigzagged a lot there. I'm not even sure I know what I said, but can you relate to any of that or see any of that, or are you curious about any of that?
Yeah, I do feel like that is kind of similar, but I think the biggest thing that's different for me is like when you think of someone that's super tame almost, you kind of think introvert, and I'm not really that way. And like I get with my friends, I'm a jokester, and like I have a lot of fun, but then I'm with myself or something, or I'm talking to my family and I'm just like direct and straight on. So I think it's kind of hard because like I don't prefer either of those like ideas, I guess. Like I'm fine with cracking jokes with my friends, but I also don't care if I'm having a straight on serious conversation.
Yeah. It can be kind of situational.
Yeah.
You can move to those different energy.
And that almost contradicts itself too, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's I've been thinking about energy, because if I can find, I don't know what my natural energy flow would be like, because I've done so much work on kind of creating this focused achiever, because I love security and helping others find security, and so it takes this like intense, if I let like different energy or emotion flow through, it kind of feels like a distraction, or I'm going to not be as productive here, so I have to keep all that kind of at bay. So I don't know if I could. I was talking to my wife the other day, and I was like, gosh, I kind of want to feel more. Like I'm thinking that like I'm wondering what things feel like to other people, and seeing it in my kids, right? When I see their feelings or their energy flow, like at first it's kind of scary to me. I try and like contain that, because it would be like, oh, that we need to stop this argument because of that energy that I felt, or something that was super just lost in just a more jovial, outrageously hilarious moment, like I wasn't connecting with, and so I just think that energy is an interesting thing, because I do play with it with caffeine, and I want to have this like spike, but I always want the spike for the productivity part. Like, give me this boost out of the day. I'm gonna go hit it hard. I'm gonna stay focused. Then at 4 o'clock, I go work out because I'm kind of tired. So that's like my energy reboost for the rest of the day. And then 10 o'clock, cashed, right? So just an interesting piece of our life is energy, how we can stimulate it, how we can find like our natural source of it, even how does it turn on for things like baseball. There's times where I go work out with my boys, and we'll go into like a warm-up, and I can just tell, I'm like, the energy's not right. Like, your energy right now is not right for this. This warm up is ineffective right now. So you need to get your energy right. And that might be laying on your back and just looking up at the clouds for a minute. I don't know what it is. It might be slapping yourself in the face. It might be just running a sprint and getting your heart rate up. I don't know what it is, but right now we are wasting time in what you were just about to do. So what do you need to do for 10 minutes to try and get your energy right? Some people might just call that mindset, right? You could do a similar type of thing. What do you do to get your energy right when it's not right?
Yeah.
Can you think of anything like that?
I think part of it really is accountability, because the biggest thing I can think of is kind of like a sport that comes to mind. And like I think of basketball last year. Everyone was super bought in. Everyone knew we were going to be good. We knew we had to earn it, but we knew we were going to earn it because we were going to work really hard. So everyone at practice, there was never any sense of this person's not in the right mindset or frame of mind, or their energy's not good, because everyone was so driven and bought in. But like baseball, I feel like that was a mess last year. Like the energy was all over the place. I think it's easier when you're in a pitcher, because it's a team sport, but you're kind of alone out there on an island. So you see there's every pitcher has a different energy about themselves. Maybe some guy comes screaming off the mound and he gets a strikeout, or somebody's super reserved. But in my life, I feel like now that basketball won't really be a part of it, I feel like a lot of it's just more so the energy that I feel helps me be productive, and less how my energy affects other people. I think.
Yeah. What happens when you lose? I know competitions, winning is really important to you in goals. Like, what happens with your emotional system and your energy when you lose? Are you still this like placid, peaceful, like, oh, well, that's just how it goes, and I want to learn from it, and I'm going to try and get better? Does it like go into that? Does it go into that because somebody's told you it should go into that, or does it? Like, where does that go for you?
Yeah, so it used to be that it really would piss me off. Like I would become not really a different person, but like you could tell I was agitated and I was really upset. And I think a lot of that came from like, I feel like I didn't lose like a ton, and I feel like now like South baseball, we lost a lot, and it's hard not to get complacent, and I don't think I did, but like maybe it's just I'm still upset, but it's toned down, because I feel like a lot of the times as a pitcher, if like you throw 7 innings and give up 2 runs and we lose by 1, or you give up 1 run and you lose by 2, or maybe we don't score a run and you barely lose, like it's really easy to be pissed off. And I think there's a maturity standpoint to it, to where like it's not being okay with it, but you're not blowing up over it. But I think now more so, hopefully we're good this year, and everyone gets super pissed when we lose, because I think getting angry and upset is a really good driver to work harder. But I think for me, it's normally a level of intensity and anger associated with it.
So that's where anger would come out for you. That's where you'd experience it the most.
I'd say so. And I think another part of it is just like the way that I am, I want to think about why we lost. Or why I lost at something, and not, I think it's kind of blunt to just get super mad and not really think about the cause. But I think when you can really think about why you lost and think about how you can fix that issue and resolve it, I think it's still okay to do that, and you can still be a super competitive person. Not that you're okay with it and you're dismissing it, but not a part of you is just super pissed.
It's interesting. It's like anger makes your it makes your system, like the energy that you get from an emotion is fuel. What you do with that fuel is what matters, but to recognize like that anger is a fuel. And if we're trying not to be angry, then it reduces our fuel. But where I think anger gets a bad rap is some people put that fuel into the wrong thing, right? So after a game, you could lose a game and you could go punch the wall, break your hand, punch somebody on your team, hurt that relationship, cuss out a bunch of people, make them lose connection or respect, right? Like that's like you took the fuel and it went there, which is like the easier place for it to go. It's like the child place for it to go, right? But I think so often we see that at a young age, so then we're like, oh, let's not be angry. Let's be practical. Let's be thoughtful. Let's be, peaceful. Let's get rid of that fuel. Instead of saying, let's keep the fuel. We love the fuel. Let's just plug it into a different outlet. Yeah. So after a game where it's like, if your heart is just like doom, 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 just beating, and you feel that blood, the boiling, and it's like, hell yeah. I'm going to go right now. I'm going to go out to left field by myself, and I'm going to use that anger as fuel to like reflect on the why. I'm just gonna keep like saying, okay, I'm gonna be hyper attuned right now because I'm gonna feed it, right? And then I'm gonna go from the why to the what now, and that fuel is just running out. It's like this huge like jug of caffeine, right, running through you. It's a great natural resource for that. And I'm just going to be productive with it. Thank you, feeling and energy. Now I'm channeling it into this productive place. And then I have this tremendous output from it. Versus like, okay, I know I've been conditioned to walk off the mound and to think it's just a game, or it's trust the process, or whatever people say, which there's truth to those things too, but not shutting out fuel. And I know does that make sense to you? Is that like a helpful thing, or is that a way that you have you thought about anger in that way before?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a perspective to it where it really is beneficial in some ways, and it's different for everybody. Like maybe you don't go to left field and think about it like you said. Maybe you go punch a wall or throw something or take it out in an unhealthy, bad way that puts out bad energy to everyone else.
Yeah.
But I think like getting older and kind of getting more experience with it and with losing, and kind of seeing how you want to handle it and how you want to use the anger definitely it gets helpful.
Yeah. What about rest? What does rest look like for Otto? Not the literal like I go to sleep, not that, but how does Otto rest when he has anxiety? It could be active rest, it could be inactive, like a certain kind of rest, like a stillness or something, an unplugging. But what do you do when you need to rest?
Yeah. So the biggest thing I can think of is I write stuff down a lot. So I like for 30 minutes before I go to bed, like 9 o'clock I'll turn my lights off, I'll stretch, do mobility for 30 minutes, and then at 9:30 to 10 I'll just write a bunch of stuff I'm thinking, how I'm feeling about it, and then I'll go to bed at 10. But I think outside of that little session, I feel like I just fill my weekdays with so much stuff to do to where I feel like it's almost not even a thought. But like on the weekends when I have more alone time and like I'm not actively doing something and I can kind of run things through my head, I think the big thing is just I try to think about stuff from multiple perspectives, but I think writing stuff down helps me the most.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I wish I did that more when I was younger. I think I would have been a much better version of myself today because of that. That is a discipline. It's like a way of proactive rest, because you might not even feel like you're anxious.
Yeah.
Stretching the body part, right? You might feel like, I could go to bed now and feel fine, but I'm going to. It seems like I stretch when I wake up and stretch when I go to bed, and whenever I do it, I enter into something better than what I thought I already had. So tell me about your writing. Is there a process there outside of the 30 minutes, or is it do you do anything with your environment? Do you sit at a desk? Do you do it while you're stretching? Do you do anything with like the lighting? Tell me about that.
So I try to because I'm kind of on the track of winding down, so my 3 lights are like LED ones, and they're just set to red because I think I read somewhere blue is bad for sleep. I don't know. It was like 2 years ago. Yeah. But I kind of kept it that way. So I'll have 3 main. It's like a dim red room, and I know a lot of people like dive into the meditation side of things. I've never really gotten into that, but it's really just control my breathing while I'm stretching or whatnot, and then I go write. And normally how I format it is I write about whatever, things I'm excited about, how I felt about my day. If there's anything I felt like kind of uneasy about, I kind of write that. And then at the bottom I write like 3 goals I have for the next day, and then kind of recap what I did yesterday and like rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, like what I ate or consumed, how I slept.
Yeah, love it. So how long have you been doing writing? Maybe not that process.
Consistently, probably 2-3 weeks. Yeah. On and off, probably a year.
Yeah.
But I feel like it takes like 30-40 days to build a habit, so hopefully I'm trying to just get there to where it's super consistent and I don't even have to think about it, like it's just done.
Why'd you start it, or what do you miss when you don't do it?
The big thing was, like I talked about earlier, about how I talk to other people and help with my life a lot, which I still do, but I feel like eventually I want to get to a point which I can evaluate things at a higher level myself, and I think when we're younger it's not super healthy to do that, because even at my age, like my brain's not where it's going to be in 5 years, so I think it is important to rely and lean on other people, but I think it's really easy to just write something down and then maybe look at it and think about it, or maybe you think while you're writing, and I think it's really easy to get all the thoughts out there. I think it helps me learning stuff visually and thinking about stuff visually, so maybe it's like what I said earlier about writing a paragraph or 2, or maybe it's drawing a graph or a timeline of what I want the next week to look like, but I think just getting stuff out visually to think about it helps me the most.
Yeah. Is it geared towards goals and productivity, what you write about?
It really does depend day to day. Like the bottom where it's goals and recap I do that every day, but up top, like maybe some days I'm writing about like a recipe online I want to try, or if it's a low stress day or something like that. But then there's other days where maybe it's something weird that like didn't feel right or sit right with me at school happened, and I kind of want to like talk about it.
Yeah,
I'll do it that way, but I think a lot of it probably is productivity based. I think it helps for that, because I mean, like I'll keep a journal of it and like how I slept and stuff like that, and I can always look back and like, I don't know, maybe I pitched on Saturday, I can go see how I slept on Saturday. So I like that part of it.
Love it. Yeah, and it's I don't know what I think when I heard the word meditation the first time, and probably, let's say I was in my 20s or something like that when I heard it, and then for many, many years later, it seemed like something that was a recipe that I didn't even really know. It just sounded like something that had more structure, was more deeper or religious or something that just kept me away from saying I want that or I'll do that. But the way I see like meditation, like that is meditation, you know, like that is a practice of just a reflection, or even just when you're talking about the breathing or the conversation with yourself. So I wonder if we looked up the word meditation, if maybe that is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've done it for about 2 weeks consistently?
Yeah, probably 2 to 3 around there.
Yeah. And did you is this part of a goal to do this for 30
Yeah.
days in a
Yeah.
row?
So, I mean, the big goal is to like do everything I can in the next 6 months, and then under that there's a bunch of, I guess, umbrellas, like, and part of it's building discipline, and I think just getting in a consistent routine will help me a lot with that.
Yeah. Does it all, if baseball weren't the vehicle in your life, would you be doing this discipline journey?
I think if I had the knowledge of like where it will take me and how it is for me, I definitely would.
Yeah.
I just can't even imagine what it would what my life would look like. Just because I feel like, like I get out of school, I lift to get better at baseball, then I go throw to get better at baseball, then I do mobility to get better at baseball, and then go to bed. So like.
Otto Knust, age 18.
I think I still would, just because like it's helped me a lot. I think with my mind.
Yeah.
And like it helps you even physically feel better. Like it helps me. I sleep so much better now than I did when I was scrolling through TikTok 5 minutes until I wanted to go to bed. So I think I still would do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So this focus on baseball, I mean, it is definitely, sounds like kind of the number one driver of Otto. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And which is awesome. I think like when you have a dream and it's clear, you can feel it and you love it, it takes a great effort, right? It takes a great effort to be that, 20,000 players who have ever played Major League Baseball in the history of the world.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're just kind of this like freak athlete anomaly thing, my guess is that's the kind of work and devotion that it takes. Do you get people on the outside that are questioning that in you or challenging that in you, or saying, oh, we're kind of losing you to baseball, relationships, or just people that want you to have more balance in your life? Where's the friction coming from against that?
Yeah. Not really, just because it's like, I have a ton of time to get it done, really, and the schedule, like, I do a lot for it, but it's not super packed, like, because, I don't know, I get out at 1, I'm done with everything baseball by 5, and I need to be home by 9, so, like, on the weekends, I still make a conscious effort to go see my friends and do all that stuff, and there's still time with my family. It's kind of sucks, but we're kind of used to it. Summer ball takes up a lot of time, and then my sister's always swam, and she's at college now, so we're kind of used to all it, like, running around, and I don't think it's really been a hassle to maintain relationships.
Yeah.
And I feel like my strongest relationships are through baseball.
Yeah. Where's most of that formatting coming from in terms of like, hey, if you want this, this is what you need to do. I'm sure there's things that you can learn on Tread Athletics or from BC, but where does just your own headspace of reflecting on what do I need to do here, but there's a lot of orientation to this dream. Who's your thought leader in this for you?
It probably is the guys at BC. I mean, I'm sure they were frustrated in years past because they probably felt like I wasn't doing enough baseball-wise, but I think it's important to be a kid, and I understand now, like, I don't think it's too late to just let's go. Like, there's still a ton of time, but it's probably the guys at BC. Like, I'll sit down with them and do, like, a player development meeting or, like, a plan pretty frequently. They're good about it. I just feel like they know me super well, and I have a lot of trust in them. So that's why I lean on them so heavily.
Yeah, that's awesome that you have that. I think there's probably a lot of people in life that have similar talents or interests, like in the like that level of magnitude, or maybe it's there that they need a little challenge or inspiration, and they don't ever find that partner or trust. That seems to be a key element to people rising up and finding that leadership and consistency. So what a gift to have that component for something that you care about. How much time do you spend writing in your journal about gratitude?
A lot. I think that's a big piece. I think it's important, and you value things more when you recognize them and to be grateful for them. And I'm in a great area, like not only my environment, but just really my environment. Like my family is awesome. My people surrounding my life in baseball or strength training, they're awesome, and a lot of it is great gratitude because I know I just do my best not to take it for granted.
Yeah.
And I think that helps you work harder and can drive you a little bit because I know I won't always have these resources, and I think also I guess I'm just lucky, and I feel like it would be kind of jerky to just not recognize it and kind of take it for granted and roll over it, and then when it's gone in a few years, I will know then. But I want to make sure I know now too.
Yeah, and with the baseball talk about when it goes away, I think what you've learned in the baseball journey about just how to have that right ecosystem, like so many behaviors that you have now that are portable to just life, whatever that next thing is that fills that. So it sounds like you talked a little bit about family and being a dad. So I think oftentimes what happens is somebody has the baseball dream and they build this like ecosystem, or the ecosystem is built for them, and then they go on to the family piece, but they don't build the same resources. And they miss that was maybe the main gift in all of it, is like, hey, this is how that worked well, and this is how I found great fulfillment and achievement. And then you just try and be a dad, or you try and do the career thing or the marriage thing on your own. And so hopefully, just like this system that is here is like maybe the greatest takeaway of your journey going, if I went to Norway and I didn't have baseball, I would look for a dream a goal, and I would look to build a similar system and practice, that I have now today, and just put that at the center of it. So the last part of this, I would just say, is like, I was thinking about gold before, and I think about that a lot with people and teens. Like, so gold at one time, before there was people, was just like embedded in some part of the Earth's surface, right? And then it was, and it did its own thing there, like with the soil or with the elements, and I don't know what kind of value that it had. Could use the same analogy for like buffalo, right? Like they existed, but then like the world culture comes along and is like, oh, I'm gonna mine that gold. I'm gonna mine it, and I'm gonna take it, and I'm going to benefit from it. Sometimes I think about people in that way, that we're like that culture is mining us, or it's trying to mine us. It's trying to use us for its benefit, or consume us for its benefit, produce in us something for its benefit, and recognizing that is at play, and recognizing that we don't want to be used in that way. We want to be used in whatever way that we want to be used, right? So I see that in your story, like all over, that you're just being super thoughtful. I like just the idea of self-scrolling. Like, we scroll so many things in life, either intentionally, like with our phones, or the TV, or just observing people around us, what's cool, what's not. Like, we're always scrolling other things and people. But how much are we self-scrolling to go have that like inner alignment? And so I see that not only in your practices, but I see it in the way that, like, your existence and in your story. And yeah, I just hope one other person sees that, right? Because it takes like seeing that version of life, a way that life can be lived, to not just be like, I'm this human and other people are mining me and formatting me, but I'm actually aligning first with like, who am I? What do I desire? What do I want to be? Who, all those things. And I'm going to go be that up against this force of life. So I just see that in your existence. I see that in your practice. I see that being provided for you. There's a part of it that Otto has produced, but probably most of it has just been produced by others, and that you recognize that hey, here I am. This is where I grew up, with these opportunities and with these people and these places and these friends and this baseball club and these parents and this sister and all of that, and then for you to say, yeah, like I'm super lucky or super blessed, or however you want to like frame it, and how can I maybe be part of somebody else's ecosystem to help them in their journey. What's something that in this conversation that is echoing a little bit for you, or a lot that might find its way into something that you reflect on, something that you journal about, something that, and maybe it wasn't even something that was said, maybe it's just like a thought that is kind of running in the back of your mind, or a question that has come out of it for you. Is there anything that is echoing?
I think a lot of it is like the just the aspect of like the Norway example. Like that's something I'm guessing I'm going to be thinking about a lot in the next few days. Is like a lot of my life right now revolves around sport, and like if that was gone, like just not only who would I be, but what would I do, is something that like interests me a lot. I guess.
Yeah, that's cool, because it's already kind of a thought that you played with in just a different way.
Yeah.
So sometimes just changing up the thought a little bit can birth something. Another way that you might think about it, that might be helpful, is like if there was an apocalyptic event, but everything that we know in this world still exists. Everything. Every place, everything, all of you, it still exists. But there's no people. Or maybe there's one person. What does Otto do in that day? Like, what is, besides wish that it hadn't happened, right? Like, and just dwell on the way things used to be. Like, how does Otto move through the day where he's like, if I do this, whether I'm in Norway or whether I'm without people, like, this would give me pleasure, or this would give me fulfillment to go do this thing. Maybe it would still be, well, I'd have a baseball glove and I'd have a baseball, and I love playing baseball so much that I'd probably just go throw into a net, because that would be pleasure to me, or it'd be peace to me, right? Maybe I would still write. I'd still write to myself. I'd still be a friend to myself. I'd still search myself. I would still, if there was that one person there, or if I'm in Norway, I would still look to connect with people, because I believe that there's something there. I don't know what it is, but I believe that there's something there in like community or searching others. I would look to be productive. How would I be productive? Would I be productive with my hands, like building something? Would I want to go make music because there's still instruments laying around, right? Like, just it's kind of an interesting way to self-scroll. So yeah, I play with those things too, and I would hope that there would be one person, not like a box, but if I was in Norway, or if I was, with one person, I know that I love this. So just like helping people, I love seeing people, like, who are you? And I'm just get great pleasure out of that. Like, who are you? What's under there? I've learned so much today. I've been inspired in so many ways that I wouldn't have been had I not talked to you. I have like things I'm like, oh, I want to ask you to meet with my son Luke, because I feel like you could be a great mentor to him. I have things firing, and they're only firing because of this. So thank you for your time, and look forward to watching you play ball. Look forward to following up with you and hearing what your Norway scenario looks like.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Good. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you.